with Ja. What's his situation? When does he do
I
back?
believe Ja had a hip injury.
Hip injury. Man, there's been a lot of injuries to start off this season. It's just
Yeah.
and there's a lot of politics that come with these injuries because in the past few days we've gotten some insight into some of the situations that not every team handles injuries properly. Did you see Luol Deng, how he spoke about how he was misdiagnosed and he was trying
No, I
to
didn't see this.
yeah, Luol Deng actually spoke on him. He got misdiagnosed by the Bulls doctor and he ended up missing the playoffs for no reason. The players union in the NBA, they kind of had an issue involving him and he didn't really want to sue the NBA because he knew he would be out the league.
Yeah.
But he spoke on it. Him and Markle Fultz, they actually spoke on their situations. And I just wanted to play it real quick so we can just get some quick insight because not every team, once again, handles injuries properly. We're seeing the way the Pelicans handle Zion. It's kind of iffy. This guy gets a hamstring injury and all of a sudden they're like, oh, he's out for a game. And then the media members ask, how come he's not with the team though? And then they go, he's out indefinitely now. You know what I mean? Like it just keeps changing. We just don't know if they're handling these situations properly. Ever since he's been on the team, it's been kind of iffy with the Pelicans medical staff, as we've seen his father and his family members had posted on social media that they were having issues. But let's just hear Luol Deng real quick, kind of give some insight to his situation in Chicago.
I know where they just sent me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they diagnosed me wrong, and they ended up saying that my fever was too high and whatnot, and they ended up giving me a spinal tap surgery. What? Now, yeah, this is what happened. This is how I missed the playoffs that year. So I go and get a spinal tap, knowing that I don't know what a spinal tap is. But the doctor told me that, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a procedure to see if you have meningitis because this is serious, whatever. Mind you, other people in the team had the flu. Anyway, they proceed and just go on with it anyway. I ended up missing the playoffs. And what happened was that year, there was a dispute going on with the NBPA and so on about me suing the Bulls because of what took place. But I knew that if I sued the Bulls, I would either not play basketball ever again in order to win the case to prove that things didn't go well and this could be a career ending. But I would hoop. So I said, yo, I'm not suing anyone. I'm just going to hoop. I'm just going to come back. I came back that year and nothing was the same. It just felt like, every game I was given an opportunity to prove that I'm healthy. And as the year went on, like you said, I'm the leading scorer. I'm averaging almost 20 points and so on. The next thing I know is I'm traded to Cleveland. And I think I was, and I still believe that move was made really because I've played enough games to show that, I was healthy and I
could enough to play. Yeah.
Now they really can't come to you no more.
When the team started being broken up, and one by one, after I left, you started seeing people being moved, tips being moved, and so on.
Now that was Luol Deng talking about his situation with the Bulls. Now I'm gonna play one more. Peep Markle Fultz speak about his situation, and we're gonna peep the sentiments that he had on how Philadelphia handled his situation.
It's because I just want to hoop.
Did you feel the organization was being supportive? Do you feel they fed into what everybody say a little bit?
It could have been better. It was. I had my supports and stuff like that. And I'm thankful for the Sixers organization and everything they did for me. But I don't know. It was a weird situation, you know. And like again, I understand that it's a business, and I understand now like the business and in and outs of everything. So like again, I was just worried about. I was thankful to be able to be moved to somewhere where I had a second chance and an opportunity to grow. And they wanted to win. I wish I had a chance to help them because I really feel like I could have helped them, win if they were patient and let me get healthy. But at the same time, I'm thankful for everything that they did for me and everything worked out good.
Now those are two prime examples of organizations that were kind of. I don't want to say the Bulls have a history of being, kind of gray area with the injury reports, but the 76ers have a long history with this. They did the same thing with Ben Simmons. You know what I'm saying? Even when they traded him to Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Nets thought he was ready for the playoffs. Remember when KD went up against the Boston Celtics and KD and Kyrie got swept? They thought Simmons would be ready for that, but by the time they got him, I don't know if the physical showed him something else. He was never ready. We kept on hearing he might come back for game 1 or he might come back for game 2, game 3, and then he just never came back. And Markle Fultz, his situation in Philly was kind of the same. So there's a lot of gray area when it comes to these like the way these franchises handle injuries going from team to team. Not every team is kind of built the same on these situations.
You're seeing the same with Zion in New Orleans too.
Yeah, Zion in New Orleans is another perfect example. But like I said before, this is a very interesting time in space with all these players having the ability to hop on platforms and kind of, I don't want to say they're telling the full truths of everything. They're kind of subtly kind of giving their hints and giving the audience a sneak peek what's going on behind the curtain. Because Markle Fultz took a lot of criticism, like, oh, is he a bust? How come he's not playing? Luol Deng, I'm pretty sure Bulls fans, that season they had a good team. They're probably wondering why did Luol miss the rest of the playoffs? Like, cause that misdiagnosis with him just, he might have had a cold or something. That misdiagnosis ended up costing him the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, fans sometimes they sort of blame, I don't want to say they blame the player, but sometimes they're like, we need this guy. How come he's not fighting through this? Especially the way the injury reports come out. You never heard of an injury report saying the team misdiagnosed the player. You never heard that shit. It tends to kind of put all the onus on the player of why they're not making an appearance. But again, not every franchise handles injuries the same.